Hey everybody, it's midterm week, and I know that at the outset the idea of a midterm can be quite intimidating, but I wanted to explain to you on this video why it shouldn't be all that intimidating because it's just the next logical progression from what you've already been doing this semester and connecting it to a larger writing assignment. So here is the basic breakdown of what you're going to be doing. You're going to be taking two of the texts that we've read this semester from the medieval period, and you're going to trace a theme across these two texts. And you want to compare and contrast what these texts are doing and how they are addressing this theme. Now, these themes should not be unusual to you. You've already seen them in many of the writing assignments that we've done this semester. The idea is that everything builds on what's come before it. So this should not surprise you in any particular way because you've already seen these questions. Even if you didn't engage with them in your discussion board post, you've seen them in the reading notes and videos that we've already done for this semester. So the midterm is just taking what you already know and putting it in comparison and tracking a trend across these texts. Now, as you do that, there is a temptation, and I've seen some of this in your responses to the comparison essay that you've done with Chaucer's prologue, and there's a tendency to say one thing about a text and then say another thing about a text and then say in conclusion and be done with it. That's not what you need to be doing here. What you need to be doing is thinking about what is the key point, where is that key point of comparison that you want to see in these texts. If it is it an idea that changes over the course of time as you move from the Old English period to the Middle English period? Do you see some transitions happening, or are things largely the same? And then what does that say about this idea that it can remain the same even over the passage of hundreds of years of time? So any of those are good topics for discussion. So think about that as you're digging into this. I recommend starting early, going ahead and getting your idea in place as early as today so that you can understand, here's where I need to be working, here's what I need to be thinking about, here's what I need to be doing as I'm pulling all of this together. Then going back to the texts and finding those key examples that you can to bring this assignment together. Now, as I've mentioned to many of you in your posts, there is a tendency in these assignments to lean too heavily on summary. You want to move off of summary and move more towards quoting here. And that's where the SEAL method can be particularly helpful because it helps you build those paragraphs out around a central idea. So if you have a main topic and then your first paragraph explores how Beowulf or The Wife's Lament explores this topic, go ahead and state from the beginning of that paragraph, as you would in the SEAL method, here's how the wife's lament addresses sadness or something along those lines, so that you can direct your readers through that, and then you can move to the next assignment, to the next text, that where you continue to draw out these comparisons. That's the way to handle this type of assignment so that it doesn't just become this one block of text and then another block of text responding to each other. Now, I'm available to you this week at any point if you want to reach out to me, especially if you have some ideas but you're having a hard time bringing them together. It doesn't serve you a ton to email me and say, what should I write about? Because I'm going to give you a lot of options that are mostly already there in the questions themselves. It does serve you to say, here's what I'm thinking about this specific topic. Does this sound good to you? If so, how would you recommend me starting? Or I've written and I've gotten to about 3 pages and I'm stuck. Do you have any suggestions about how I can move forward with this? I do, and I can help you with that. But the more information you're able to give me when you ask for help, the more able I will be to help you with that information. So I think this is going to be a good writing experience for you, but it is a bit longer, right? So all of your posts to this point have been about 300 words in length. This assignment is 1,500 words, or the equivalent of about 5 double-spaced typed single or 12-point font, right, standard paper size for you to turn in. So and I'm less concerned about whether or not you actually hit that word count as I am about the exploration of your ideas. The word count is a guideline to let you know about the length or at least the minimum length that you need to be on in order to write this assignment effectively. If you're well short of it, that should tell you something that you're not exploring an idea fully, because this is about the minimum you need to really do this assignment well. So I also want to recommend to you, though I don't tend to harp on grammar mistakes a ton, a group of them together really makes your writing difficult to follow, which takes away from your credibility as a writer, and it takes away from the clarity of your ideas, which means I'm not able to understand them in the way that you would want me to do. So that's why grammar is important. Make sure that you leave enough time before you turn your work in to review your work closely to catch these errors. So you hear me talk at length about leaving enough time. Start now. It's Monday. The midterm is due this Friday by 8 p.m. The more work you can put in at the front end, the more time you will have to review your work at the back end. I'm no grammarian. I struggle with this stuff too, right? Even as an English teacher, it's sort of embarrassing the amount of times that I have to go and correct my own work. So I get it. But one of the things you'll have to do as you adjust is make sure that you're spending the time you need to in order to correct these things yourself. Because if I'm having to bring them up to you, that means that they've impacted your clarity and they've impacted the way that I can understand your text, and that is going to have a subsequent impact on your grade. So I hope all this information is helpful to you. A reminder, your midterm, 1,500 words. The questions and everything are listed in Blackboard. Just walk through the same process, and all of that is due by this Friday, October the 7th at 8 p.m. Please reach out if you have any questions or concerns. cmoody@aum.edu. Take care, everybody.